512. Unto my books, so good to turn, far ends of tired days. It half endears the abstinence, and pain is missed in praise. As flavors cheer retarded guests with banquetings to be, so spices stimulate the time till my small library. It may be wilderness without, far feet of failing men, but holiday excludes the night, and it is bells within. I thank these kinsmen of the shelf, their countenances kid, enamor in perspective, and satisfy obtained. 513. The spider holds a silver ball in unperceived hands, and dancing softly to himself his yarn of pearl unwinds. He plies from naught to naught in unsubstantial trade, supplants our tapestries with his in half the period. An hour to rear supreme his continents of light, then dangle from the housewife's broom his boundaries forgot. 514. 3 times we parted, breath and I, 3 times he would not go, but strove to stir the lifeless fan the waters strove to stay. 3 times the billows threw me up, then caught me like a ball, then made blue faces in my face and pushed away a sail. That crawled leagues off I liked to see, for thinking while I die, how pleasant to behold a thing where human faces be. The waves grew sleepy, breath did not, the winds like children lulled, then sunrise kissed my chrysalis, and I stood up and lived. 515. There is a pain so utter, it swallows substance up, then covers the abyss with trance, so memory can step around, across, upon it, as one within a swoon, goes safely where an open eye would drop him bone by bone. 516. It troubled me, as once I was, for I was once a child, concluding how an atom fell, and yet the heavens held. The heavens weighed the most by far, yet blue and solid stood, without a bolt that I could prove. Would giants understand? Life set me larger problems. Some I shall keep to solve, till algebra is easier, or simpler proved above. Then to be comprehended, what sorer puzzled me, why heaven did not break away, and tumble blue on me. 517. A still volcano life, that flickered in the night, when it was dark enough to do, without a racing sight. A quiet earthquake style, too subtle to suspect, by nature's this side Naples the north cannot detect. The solemn torrid symbol, the lips that never lie, whose hissing corals part and shut, and cities ooze away. 518. When I was small a woman died, today her only boy went up from the Potomac, his face all victory. To look at her, how slowly the seasons must have turned, till bullets clipped an angle, and he passed quickly round. If pride shall be in paradise, ourself cannot decide. Of their imperial conduct no person testified, but proud in apparition, that woman and her boy pass back and forth before my brain, as even in the sky. I'm confident that bravos perpetual break abroad, for braveries remote as this in yonder Maryland. 519. This is my letter to the world that never wrote to me the simple news that nature told with tender majesty. Her message is committed to hands I cannot see, for love of her sweet countrymen judge tenderly of me. 520. God made a little gentian, it tried to be a rose, and failed, and all the summer laughed, but just before the snows, there rose a purple creature that ravished all the hill, and summer hid her forehead, and mockery was still. The frosts were her condition, the Tyrian would not come, until the north invoke it, Creator, shall I bloom? 521. It always felt to me a wrong, to that old Moses done, to let him see the canon, without the entering. And though in soberer moments no Moses there can be, I'm satisfied the romance, in point of injury, surpasses sharper stated, of Stephen or of Paul, for these were only put to death, while God's adroiter will on Moses seemed to fasten, with tantalizing play, as boy should deal with lesser boy to prove ability. The fault was doubtless Israel's, myself had banned the tribes, and ushered grand old Moses in Pentateuchal robes. Upon the broad possession 'twas little he should see, old man on Nebo, late as this, my justice bleeds for thee. 522. I tie my hat, I crease my shawl, life's little duties do precisely, as the very least were infinite to me. I put new blossoms in the glass, and throw the old away. I push a petal from my gown, that anchored there I weigh. The time 'twill be 6 o'clock, so much I have to do, and yet existence some way back stopped, struck my ticking through. We cannot put ourself away, as a completed man or woman, when an errand's done, we came to flesh upon. There may be miles on miles of naught, of actions sicker far, to simulate is stinging work, to cover what we are. From science and from surgery, two telescopic eyes to bear on us unshaded, for their sake, not for ours. Therefore, we do life's labor, though life's reward be done with scrupulous exactness to hold our senses on. 523. The trees like tassels hit and swung, there seemed to rise a tune from miniature creatures accompanying the sun. Far psalteries of summer, enamoring the ear, they never yet did satisfy, remotest when most fair. The sun shone whole at intervals, then half, then utter hid, as if himself were optional, and had estates of cloud, sufficient to enfold him eternally from view, except it were a whim of his to let the orchards grow. A bird sat careless on the fence, one gossiped in the lane, on silver matters charmed a snake just winding round a stone. Bright flowers slit a calyx, and soared upon a stem, like hindered flags sweet hoisted with spices in the hem. 'Twas more I cannot mention, how mean to those that see Van Dyck's delineation of nature's summer day. 524. It feels a shame to be alive, when men so brave are dead. One envies the distinguished dust permitted such a head. The stone, that tells defending whom this Spartan put away what little of him we possessed in pawn for liberty. The price is great, sublimely paid. Do we deserve a thing that lives like dollars must be piled before we may obtain? Are we that weight, sufficient worth, that such enormous pearl as life dissolved be for us in battle's horrid bowl? It may be a renown to live. I think the men who die, those unsustained saviors, present divinity.